Yeah, the text is right there. You don't have to do anything yet. No, I'll call you.
All right.
All right? So. Just
All right,
go-
thank you.
Yeah.
I'll sit over here.
La 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 la
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. And welcome to our Shabbat celebration. It is a delightful moment to be here with you and here, to welcome you out there, and to celebrate the sacred Jewish moment together. So, I always like to start out by seeing what's going on in our community with Tov Uvracha. good and blessing to hear what's going on. So I have a couple of things for us that I know from our congregational records are happening. So we had a couple of anniversaries last week. Josh and Deb Gelman, Shai Manzuri and Diane Castro, and Dennis and Bobby Gerson all celebrated anniversaries. So a mazel tov to them. And we also have birthdays this past week. B. Bender, Steve Dubner, Roger Gadan, Bob Kraus, Richard Polikoff, Hannah Tell, Amy Cherney, Bobby Gerson, she's got all kinds of action going on, Alex Koenig, and Rachel Leonard, and Diane Seligman. So best wishes to all of them too. So having brought all of these knowns, you bring unknown good and blessing to us. So let's start out. We're going to work this side of the room and sweep English style from right to left. So who over here has a good and blessing? Something, doesn't have to be a big deal, that's happened the last week. Yes, we'll start with you, Maya. Yes. Mazel tov. All right, my dear. Congratulations. This is these are these little moments that bring us greater sense of competency. That's fantastic. Helena, you had your hand up? No. Jeanette.
We finally have both a date and a venue for our son's upcoming marriage.
Wow,
So,
that's a big machaya. So that's great. And then I saw Toby's hand. Okay. There we go. Okay. Now, flat tires used to be the bane of my existence, so that's pretty great. And how about over on this side of the room? Who's got a good and blessing going on? Gil. Okay, that is sadistically pleasant. That's great. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else? Anybody got anything good and blessing to report? So one of those odd moments in cleaning up for Pesach, you find the strangest things. And I found my father's old turquoise watch. And so I looked at it. It's a Timex electric. And so I took off the back and took out the battery, went looking for the battery, which no longer exists. And I was able to find its equivalent and got that going, but then it wouldn't run. And so I was so puzzled, and someone said, there's no quartz in there. You have to shake it and to get it going. And indeed, it now runs. So, marvelous. It's just marvelous. So that's a little good and blessing, a blast from the past. So with that, it's time for us to draw in that special holiness that comes with Shabbat. We have a sense of how each of us is doing, and we want to go forward from there. Jeanette, it's my privilege to invite you to kindle the lights of Shabbat. For those of us who are in the prayer book, we're going to be on page 1. Yeah, go ahead and read.
in the beginning, when the Spirit of God hovered over the darkness, God's first creation was light. As we kindle these Shabbat lights, we attest to the majesty of God's work and rejoice in its beauty. Light is a symbol of divinity and creative goodness. It is the outward sign of that inner spark which God has granted each of us. In hope and with love, we now welcome Shabbat with light. Old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Praised are you, Adonai, whose presence fills the world, who hallows us with mitzvot and inspires us to kindle Shabbat lights.
May God bless us with Shabbat joy.
May God bless us with Shabbat holiness. May God bless us with Shabbat peace.
So now we are going to enter into Kabbalat Shabbat, and we're going to start on page 3. In the middle of the page, Yismachu Hashemayim v'targel haaretz yiram hayam umalo'o. Let the heavens rejoice and the earth exult. Let the sea and all within it thunder. The fields and everything in them exult. And then shall all the trees of the forest shout for joy at the presence of Adonai. For God is coming to rule the earth. God will rule the world justly and its peoples peacefully. Or zorach latzadik v'yishrei lev simcha. Adonai reigns, let the land exult and the many islands rejoice. Dense clouds surround God. Righteousness and justice are the foundation of God's throne. And God's lightning illumines the world. Light is sown for the righteous, radiance for the upright of heart. O you who are righteous, rejoice in Adonai and acclaim God's holy name. We're going to continue now with Psalm 99, Ramemu.
Ramemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu l'har kodsho.
Ramemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu l'har kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Ramemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Ramemu. Ramemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu l'har kodsho. Ramemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu l'har kodsho. Psalm 29, ascribe to Adonai, you children of God. Ascribe to Adonai glory and strength. Ascribe to Adonai the glory of God's name, and worship Adonai in the beauty of holiness. May Adonai give strength to this people. May Adonai bless this people with peace. We're going to continue now with Lecha Dodi. When we get to the final stanza, I'm going to invite up Don and Harold, to be our ushers and welcome in the Shabbat and close the door at the end of the final stanza. So, Lecha Dodi, welcome, Sabbath, into our midst.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. 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 Shamor v'zachor b'dibu echad, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה. להדודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. להדודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לאובן אלהה, כי היא מקור הברכה. בראש מקדם נשואה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. להדודי
Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, Gam v'simcha uzola, V'chemunei am sigula, Boi chala, Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. So rouse yourself, for your light has come. Arise, shine, awaken, give forth a song. The glory of Adonai is revealed to you. So come in peace, you crown of your husband, with rejoicing and with joy, to those who are faithful, a treasured people. Come, O Shabbat, come, O bride. We continue now on page 9 with the Hatzikash.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה הילותי וימלך מלכותי, והיהון וביומכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל. בגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר וירומם וינשא ויתהדר ויתהלל שמי קדושה ברכו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תמירן בעלמא ויאמרו אמן.
Please rise if able.
La 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 la
And so we mark with gratitude the close of the day, Ma'ariv Aravim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher b'tforo Ma'ariv Aravim, b'chochma poteach sha'arim, u'v'tvuna meshane itim, u'machalif et hazmanim, u'msader et hakokavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kerotzono. Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Umavdir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uben laila, Adonai tzvaot shemo, El chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, ha'ma'ariv aravim. May God govern us always to the end of time. Praised are you, Adonai, who makes this evening fall. Ahavat olam. And unending is your love for your people. Torah, mitzvot, laws, and precepts you have taught us. And therefore, Adonai our God, When we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and rejoice in your Torah and mitzvot forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life and the length of our days, and then your love shall never depart from our hearts. Blessed is Adonai, who loves the people Israel.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed.
You may be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיהם. אני אדוני אלוהיהם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות להם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיהם.
Emet v'emunah kol zot v'kayam aleinu ki hu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ein zulato v'nachnu Yisrael amo. He is our God, there is no other, and we are his people, Israel. We continue now with Micha Mocha on page 15. Tehilo Tosefele Malchutech ra'u vanecha Bokei ayam lifnei Moshe Ze Elianu v'amru Ze Elianu v'amru Adonai Yimlo Le'olam va'ed Adonai Yimlo Le'olam va'ed. Grant that we should lie down in peace, Adonai our God, and raise us up, O sovereign, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel, and for your name's sake be our help. Shield us from hatred and plague. Keep us from war, famine, and anguish. Subdue our inclination to evil. O God, our guardian and helper, our gracious and merciful sovereign, give us refuge in the shadow of your wings. O guard our coming and our going, that always we have life and peace. We praise you, O God, whose sukkah of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai haforeh sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, Ba'al Yerushalayim. We come now to the Amidah, or Tefillah. Please rise.
Adonai, sefatai tiftahu fi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rahel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El-Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei Hakol, Ve'zocher Hashtei Avot ve'imahot, U'mevii Geula libnei bneihem, למען שמו ואהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב למושיע, מתקן חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, צומת נופים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה אליו, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, נאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מקיים הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יחלו הסלע. ברוך אתה אדוני,
Please be seated, and we're going to continue by honoring the Sabbath with Vishamru on the top of page 21.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, עוד תהי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויינפש, שבת ויינפש, שבת ויינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
great say, Adonai our God, show favor towards your people Israel, and lovingly receive our prayers. May the worship of your people always be acceptable to you, for you alone do we hold in reverence. And we give thanks to you, Adonai our God, the God of our ancestors. You are the rock of our lives, the shield of our salvation for every generation. We give thanks to you and recite your praises. Let all the living affirm you and praise your name as the God of our salvation and help. Praised are you, Adonai. Goodness is your name. All praises to you. And now we'll close down this part of the service with a prayer for peace and then some time for silent meditation.
Shalom Rav al Israel Amha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Israel Amha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech Adon lehol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech Adon lehol hashalom. Tasim leolam, shalom rav al Israel amha, tasim leolam, v'tov beineha levarei et amha Israel, bechol leit uvechol shah bishlomeha. Shalom rav al Israel amha, tasim leolam. Shalom rav al Israel amha, tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Oseh shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Israel, ve'imru amen. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Israel.
Many are the fabulous iconography, the iconography that we have within our congregation. We have our wonderful yahrzeit plaque in the form of a menorah. We have our beautiful parochet. We have our stars of David and our many menorahs, but little is understood how much of a Jewish symbol is a t-shirt. A t-shirt is a very, very Jewish thing. And in order to help educate you on that, it's my privilege to invite up our Vice President of Tikkun Olam, Melissa Trapani, who is going to be telling us something about Jewish t-shirts. Make it profound.
Okay. So, I don't think I have any of my kiddos that won the t-shirt contest here today, so they will be getting theirs on Sunday, but I did want to give everybody an idea of what they did. So, over December and January, we asked everyone in the religious school, including our high schoolers, and there was even an adult section, which had one entry.
One entry. Yeah.
One entry.
Okay, I wonder who that was.
I have no idea. So we did kindergarten through third grade, 4th through 8th, and then our high schoolers, and then we had a special entry. So we'll present them to the winners on Sunday when they're here for school, but I wanted to give you guys an update and show it to you because these will now be on sale. Guess where? On the website.
All right.
So this is our kindergarten through third grade winner. We had dual winners. Our winners were, Sammy and Stella. So, and the thought was, what makes Kol Ami, like what does it make? So they wrote all these wonderful things like helpful and cool and educational and kind. And we have little Sika box and we have the Star David. So again, all of these shirts will be on sale. Please be generous. Next, we have our 4th through 8th. Now, this has been a little, I need to change the t-shirt here because it was black and our Star of David was black. So pretend you can see the Star of David, everyone, and go, ooh, thanks, guys. Yeah. Yeah.
I love the stealth Star of David.
You like it, the stealth one? Okay, I like it too. This winner was Madeline. Yep. And Shula Armentor was our high school winner. So on the front pocket, we have Congregation Kol Ami, Flower Mound, Texas, 2023. And on the back, God, y'all are so good at this. Pomegranate tree, couple kids swinging. On the bottom, it says connecting roots since 1976. Great. I expect everyone here to go ahead and put in their orders on the website. Yeah. And then we had an honorable mention that we absolutely loved. Savannah, one of our recent bat mitzvahs. She drew a nice Jewish man. And we all agreed that it looked like Bob. And everybody needs a pocket Bob. So we have Bob coming out. And then the kids wanted to have on the back that CKA loves Mr. Bob. So he was presented with his t-shirt earlier this week. He was verklempt, as they would like to say. So watch the blast this week. They'll be on there and the kids will get their shirts and wear them. So please, I expect to see lots and lots of orders.
Yes. What color is the not stealth version of the Star of David?
It is probably going to be either white or gray. Yes. So didn't think of that one through when I saw it. And went, oh no.
All right.
So,
So
thank you,
much
Rob.
creativity going on.
Yes. So cute.
All right. So for those of you who didn't realize, the one submission for the adults was me. So, but so which brings me back to me because this is Shabbat Hagadol. and I should be talking to you about the observance of Pesach or Passover, the rules and getting you ready and all of that. But you know, Dr. Google has taken over that role, and you don't really need me to do that. And anyway, about 2 weeks ago, I posted on the internet that I was thrilled because I had submitted a entry for an academic encyclopedia that I've actually been writing for over a decade now, called the Encyclopedia of the Bible and its Reception. It's devoted to understanding how different communities have interpreted the Bible, the Hebrew Bible, the Christian Bible. It's over 1,000 Jewish and Christian and even Muslim scholars who submit to this. And I've been producing different pieces for them. But they asked me for this particular piece on the subject of paradise in Judaism in the modern era. And clearly they were desperate because it needs to be published. P.O. Box or OP needs to come out in May. So they're trying to fill in all their spaces. And they reached out to me, but it just so happened I was the perfect person to write this. All right, and I'll tell you more about that in just a little bit. And what I was thrilled about was the fact that they accepted it so quickly. We won't talk about their deadline. You know, normally I would submit, they would send me back criticism. Someone would say, oh, could you include this, or it's too long or whatever. And then I'd send it back again. And it would take a month or more, 2 months to go through the process. This one happened in 24 hours. And I'm very thrilled about that. But in any case, people did ask, what was this article about? And so now that I realize that people want to hear about me, I thought I'd stretch this out for a couple of Shabbatot. And so what I'm going to do is start by telling you a story. And this story is one of the many things that I had on hand that was applicable to this particular question of paradise in the Jewish mind of the modern era. And so this is a short story by Eyal Peretz. And for those of you not familiar with that name, Eyal Peretz is the father of Yiddish literature. He is the man who transitioned Yiddish from telling folk tales to actual literature published in magazines, short stories, novels, things like this. A very, very influential individual. And he wrote this book, this little short story about the world to come, about paradise, that I thought was absolutely appropriate for this article. It's called Bansha the Silent. So here we go. Here on earth, the death of Bansha the Silent made no impression at all. Ask anyone, who was Bansha? How did he live? How did he die? Did his strength slowly fade? Did his heart slowly give away? Who knows? Bansha was a human being. He lived unknown in silence. In silence, he died. He passed through our world like a shadow. And when Bansha was born, no one took a drink of wine. There was no sound of glasses clinking. When he was bar mitzvahed, there was no speech of celebration. He existed like a grain of sand at the rim of a vast ocean, amidst millions of others of grains of sand, exactly similar. And when the wind at last lifted him up and carried him across to the other shore of that ocean, no one noticed, no one at all. His likeness remained in no one's memory, in no one's heart. A shadow, nothing, finished. In loneliness he lived, in loneliness it died. It had not been for the infernal racket sometimes by someone or other who might have heard the sound of Bansha's bones cracking under the weight of his burdens, no one would have been aware of him. Someone might have glanced around and seen Bansha was also a human being, that he had 2 frightened eyes and a silent, trembling mouth. Someone might have noticed how, even when he bore no actual load upon his back, he still walked with his head bowed down to earth, as though living as if he were already searching for his grave. Ah, but in the other world, it was not so. No, in paradise, the death of Bansha was an overwhelming event. The great trumpet of the Messiah announced through the 7 heavens, Bansha the Silent is dead. The most exalted angels with the most imposing wings hurried, flew to tell one another, do you know who has died? Bansha, Bansha the Silent. In the great hallway of heaven, Abraham, our father, stretched out his arms to welcome and offer a benediction. Peace be upon you. And on his old face, a sweet, deep smile appeared. There in paradise, 2 angels came bearing a golden throne for Bancha to sit upon, and for his head a golden crown with glittering jewels. But why the throne? The crown already, 2 important saints asked. Hasn't he been tried before the heavenly court of justice, for which every new arrival must submit? And the voices were touched with a little envy. What's going on here anyway? And the angels answered the 2 important saints that yes, Bancha's trial had not yet started, but it would be only a formality. Even the prosecutor wouldn't dare open his mouth. Why, the whole thing wouldn't take 5 minutes. What's the matter with you, the angels asked. Don't you know whom you are dealing with? You're dealing with Bancha, Bancha the Silent. When the young and singing angels encircled Bancha in love, when Abraham our father embraced him again and again as a very old friend, when Bancha heard that a throne awaited him, for his head a crown, and that he would stand trial in the court of heaven, no one would say a word against him. When he heard all of this, Bancha, exactly as in the other world, was silent. He was silent with fear. His heart shook. In his veins ran ice, and he knew this must be a dream, or worse, a mistake. Wouldn't that be just my luck, he thought now, and he was afraid to lift his eyes, lest the dream end, lest he awake and find himself again on earth, lying somewhere in a pit of snakes with loathsome vipers, and he was afraid to make the smallest sound, to move so much as an eyelash. He trembled. He could not hear the praise of the angels. And when at last he was led into the great court of justice in paradise, he couldn't even say Guten Tag. He couldn't say good morning. He was paralyzed. In his fear, he did not hear when his name was called out in the pure angelic voice, Bancha the Silent. Through the ringing of his ears, he could make out no words, only the sound of a voice like the sound of music, like the sound of a violin. Yet he did, perhaps, after all, catch the sound of his own name, Bancha the Silent. And then the voice added, to him that name has become as a frock coat to a rich man. What's that? What's he saying? Bancha wondered. And then he heard an impatient voice interrupting the speech of his defending angel. Rich man, frock coat, no metaphors, please, and no sarcasm. He never, began the defending angel again, complained, not against God, not against man. His eye never grew red with hatred. He never raised a protest against heaven. Bancha couldn't understand a word, and the harsh voice of the prosecuting angel broke in once more. Never mind the rhetoric, please. His suffering was unspeakable. Here, look upon a man who is more tormented than Job. He never complained, the defender continued, and he was always lonely. He never had a friend, was never sent to school, never given a new suit of clothing, never knew one moment of freedom. Objection, objection, the prosecutor cried out angrily. He's only trying to appeal to the emotions with these flights of rhetoric. He was silent, even when his father, raving drunk, dragged him out of the house by the hair and flung him into the winter night, into the snowy, frozen night. He picked himself up quietly from the snow and wandered into the distance where his eyes led him. During his wanderings, he was always silent. During his agony of hunger, he begged only with his eyes. And at last, on a damp spring night, he drifted into a great city, drifted there like a leaf before the wind. And on his very first night, scarcely seen, scarcely heard, he was thrown into jail. He remained silent. He never protested. He never asked why, what for. The doors of the jail were opened again, and free, he looked for the lowly, most lowly, filthy work, and he remained silent. More terrible even than the work itself as a porter was the search for work. Tormented and ground down by pain, by the cramp of pain and an empty stomach, he never protested. He always remained silent. Once the defending angel said, Bancha came across the roadway to the fountain for a drink, and at that moment his whole life was miraculously changed. What miracle happened to change his whole life? A splendid coach with tires of rubber plunged past, dragged by runaway horses. The coachman had fallen, lay in the street, his head split open. From the mouths of the frightened horses spilled foam, and in their wild eyes sparked like fire in a dark night. And inside the carriage sat a man, half alive, half dead, and Bancha caught at the reins and held the horses. The man who sat inside and whose life was saved, a Jew, a philanthropist, never forgot what Bancha had done for him. He handed him the whip of the dead driver, and Bancha there and there became his coachman. No longer a common porter. What's more, his great benefactor married him off. And what's still more, this great philanthropist himself provided a child for Bancha to look after. They mean me. I really do believe they mean me, Bancha encouraged himself. But he didn't have the gall to open his eyes, to even look up at his judge. He never protested. He remained silent, even when that great philanthropist shortly thereafter went into bankruptcy without even having paid Bancha 1 cent of his wages. He was silent even when his wife ran off and left him with the helpless infant. He was silent when 15 years later, that same helpless infant had grown up and became strong enough to throw Bancha out of his own house. They mean me, Bancha rejoiced. They're actually talking about me. He even remained silent, continued the defending angel, when that same benefactor and philanthropist came out of bankruptcy as suddenly he'd gone into it, but still didn't pay Bancha 1 cent of what he owed. No, more than that, the person, as befits a fine gentleman who had gone through bankruptcy, again went driving in a great coach with tires of rubber, but now he had a new coachman. And Bancha, again a porter working in the roadway, was run over by the coachman, carriage, and horses. And still, in his agony, Bancha did not cry out. He remained silent. He did not even tell the police who had done this to him, even though he knew. Even in the hospital, where everyone is allowed to scream, he remained silent. He lay in utter loneliness on his cot, abandoned by the doctor, by the nurse. He had not even the few pennies to pay them, and he made not one murmur. He was silent in the awful moment just before he was about to die. He was silent in the very moment in which he died, and never one murmur of protest against man, never one murmur of protest to against God. Now, Bancha began to tremble again. His sense was that his defender was finished, and his prosecutor will rise up to state the case against him. Who knows what he'll be accused of? In that other world, he'd forgotten every present moment as it slipped by him to become the past. But now that the defending angel had brought up all these things to his mind again, who knows what forgotten sins the prosecutor might bring up. And the prosecutor rises. Gentlemen, he said in a harsh and bitter voice, and then he stops. Gentlemen. He begins again, now his voice less harsh, and he stops again. And finally, in a very soft voice, the same prosecutor says, gentlemen, he was always silent, and now I will be silent also. The great court of justice grows very still, and at last from the judge's chair, a new voice rises, a voice loving and tender. Bancha, my child, Bancha. The voice swells like a great harp. My heart's child. Within Bancha, his very soul begins to weep. He would like to open his eyes, to raise them, but they are now darkened with tears. Never until now has it been sweet to cry. My child, the judge begins again. You have always suffered. You have always kept silent. There isn't one secret place in your body without a bleeding wound. There isn't one secret place in your soul that was without wound and blood, and you have never protested. You always remained silent. There in that other world, no one understood you. You never understood yourself. You never understood that you need not have been silent, but you could have cried out, and that your outcries could have brought down the world itself and ended it. You never understood your sleeping strength. There in the other world, that world of lies, your silence was never rewarded. But here in paradise, in the world of truth, here in paradise, you will be rewarded. You, the judge, can neither condemn nor pass sentence upon. No, for you there is everything. Whatever you want, everything is yours. Now, for the first time, Pancha lifted his eyes. He was blinded by the light, the splendor that lies everywhere, upon the walls, upon the vast ceilings, the angels blazing with light. The judge, he lifts his weary eyes and he says, really? And he asks, doubtful, a little embarrassed. Really? The judge answers, really, I tell you, everything is yours. Everything in paradise is yours. Choose, take, whatever you want. You can only take what is yours, and it is everything. Really? Pancha asked again, and now his voice becoming a little stronger, a little more assured. And the judge and all the heavenly host extended their hands and said, really, really, really? Well then, Pancha smiles for the first time. Well then, what I would like, Your Excellency, is to every morning for breakfast have a hot roll with fresh butter. Silence falls upon the great hall, and that silence is more terrible than Pancha's has ever been. And slowly the judge and the angels bend their head in shame at this unending meekness that they have created on earth. And then the silence is shattered. The prosecutor laughs aloud, a bitter laugh. What does it mean? All right, think about it. I'll talk to you at the end when we do Oneg, and if you have a perspective on the short story about paradise as seen by a modern Jew, we can discuss it. All right, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. So it's now time for announcements, and once again, Melissa Trapani, hogging the spotlight, comes up to offer announcements.
Better than what you called me last week. It's tampon.
Oh, yeah.
The tampon lady.
The tampon lady, yeah. But that was said affectionately.
As one does. Okay, Shabbat Shalom. Yarn Lovers Block Party, we want your help. We plan to yarn graffiti or yarn bomb the trees at the temple the weekend of the 28th through the 30th of April. We need your projects to cover the trees in bright crocheted blocks or knitted panels, flowers or stripes, big and small, using patterns or freehand. This is purely for fun. We are considering having a low-key flea market for trading the things you may not want or will never use. It'll be a day of stitching and crafting and making friends. Please contact Susan Lee with any questions. The Feminine Hygiene Drive. CKA is sponsoring a Feminine Hygiene Drive in conjunction with Denton Friends of the Family through April 14th. Please help us by donating feminine products such as pads, tampons, incontinence products, and cleansing wipes. Please, no reusable products. You can drop your donations off in the lobby or with Bob here at CKA. If you have any questions, you can contact me, Melissa Trapani. The Community Seder. The Sisterhood will be hosting our annual Community Seder on April 6th at 6:30. It is open not only to our members, but the community at large. It's one of the most special events we hold each year, and we look forward to it always. If you're planning on being there, please use the website to RSVP so we can establish a head count. In addition, please be sure to sign up to help out or to bring an item for our potluck dinner. We depend on everyone attending to help make this the special event that it is. We hope to see you there. The CKA Blood Drive. CKA is proud to be working with Carter Blood Care again. We will be hosting another blood drive on April 22nd from noon to 4. If you can find the link on the website. Each hero donation can help up to 3 people. Every drop counts. The Rough Riders are offering group tickets to us. The tickets are available for April 8th at 7:05 against the Amarillo Sod Poodles on opening weekend. You can find the registration link for both in the weekly blast or on the website.
Now, before we do this, I know that we have one more announcement. Many of you know Neil, many of you don't. Neil is joining our congregation, and one of the things he wanted to do was start a new adult education project. So Neil, would you describe to them what you're doing?
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Yeah, so my name's Neil. As he said, many of you may know me. So I started a Daf Yomi group, which is a weekly Talmud study group. We're going to be meeting online over Google Meet every Monday at 7 p.m. There's two Daf Yomis. There's a daily Daf Yomi and then the weekly one. We decided at the first meeting on Monday that we're just going to be doing the weekly one, which is just a single page of Talmud, because that's something that should be pretty achievable.
Which is plenty.
Yeah, it's more than enough to go on. We're going to be doing on Monday Ketubot 30, which we got death penalty, we got the nature of heaven, speaking of the short story earlier, we got hot and cold in heaven, nature of punishment. There's a lot going on in just this one page. So if you're interested, please approach me after services during the Oneg. We have a text group organizing everything. It's informal. You don't need to show up every week. If you didn't read all of it, that's fine. Just talk to me and I'll give you the link and you'll be part of the group and everything. So,
outstanding. Thank you. Thank you. So if you're looking to learn a little Talmud, this is a great opportunity. So I hope you'll take advantage of it. Would you prefer me to call you the hygiene lady? No? Is it good? All right. Come on over here and lead us in the Mishabera.
Here at Kol Ami, we like to share a list of those people who may need a little extra healing this week. I will go around the room. I'll start over here first.
Sarah Moore and Susie Jays.
Thank you.
Paul Vegas, Shirley Baird, Hank Lyle, and Brent Shaw.
Thank you.
Robin didn't say.
Okay, thank you. Okay. May the ones who blessed our ancestors also bless Joyce Bloom, Natalie Bovino, Mary Ann Cagle, George Cavanis, Shauna Child, Mark Davis, Nancy Enneman, Harry Enneman, Francine Feigold, Michelle Griffith, Molly Kalig, John Kaufman, Deb Kaufman, Lauren Koenig, Alex Koenig, Gianna LaMonica, Fran Landman, Arthur Landman, Al Landon, Deb Ledden, Matt Levin, Phyllis Lorelli, Paxton Lucht, Jane Mobley, Violet Neff Helms, Jack Nygren, Paul Redwood Jr., Helen Rubel, Adrian Sandler, Dale Seaver, Happy Waterman, Howard Watt, Karen Weinstein, Barry Weinstein, and Tom Wolf.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberak imotenu mekor havraham lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
My dear, thank you so much. So it's time for us to draw the service to a close. I'm inviting you all to turn to page 82. And tonight I'd like to invite up Kate Hunter to open the ark with me. Come on up here, Kate. Ladies and gentlemen, if able, please rise. Page 82, everyone. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'teinu la'yotzer b'reshit, shelo asanu v'goyeh
האדמה, שלא שם אלוהינו בהם, וגמור עלינו ככל עמורם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נותן שמיים ויוצר הארץ, ומושב יקרה בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגופי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אינו, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, כך כתוב בתורתו, ידעת היום בהשבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אלינו.
ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. And now it's time for us to think about those individuals passed away. As we meditate upon those we've known and lost, we meditate upon the meaning of love and of life, of loss and of death. And in that spirit, I ask, is there anybody here who has lost someone in the last 7 days? Anybody observing Shiva? Thank you. How about Shloshim? Anybody observing Shloshim? Thank you. Here at Congregation Kol Ami, we think of these individuals whose yahrzeits occur this week, people connected to our community. Michael J. Cook, my teacher, Willie Dawsey, Larry Glick, Lila Hartman Rook, Leah Lip, my apologies, Elizabeth Joyce McGregor Scott, Bonnabelle Nichols, Edna Paget, Cecilia Rubin, Harry Rubin, and Malka Weinstock. Is there anyone else here observing a yahrzeit? The memory of all these people are here with us, and we want to honor that memory as well as show our sympathy for those who grieve for them by turning to page 85 and as a community rising together to recite Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah ve'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei l'chol beit Yisrael bagalal uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lamei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitrumam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudsha barichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah mim shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav Uya say shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. May the source of peace make peace for all who mourn and comfort all the bereaved among us. And let us say amen. Please be seated. So if you go to page 26, page 101, Song 26, We have a song here that IL parrots would be very familiar with. It is the saying of the Hasidic master, Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav, who said, "The whole world is like a very narrow bridge. And the most important principle is don't be afraid." Gesher Sar Ma'od, Kol Ha'olam Kula, ladies and gentlemen.
כל העולם כולו גשר סר מאוד, גשר סר מאוד, גשר סר מאוד, כל העולם כולו גשר סר מאוד, גשר סר מאוד. והעיקר, והעיקר, לא לפחד, לא לפחד כלל. והעיקר, והעיקר, לא לפחד כלל. לי, 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 כל העולם כולו גשר סר מאוד, גשר סר מאוד, גשר סר מאוד, כל העולם כולו גשר סר מאוד, גשר סר מאוד.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. As always, thank you, my dear.